Hello and welcome to SprutCAM tutorials brought to you by SprutCAM America. In this tutorial I will be addressing the top 5 issues that I most often answer questions about. The first issue I'm going to answer is going to be geometry model visibility button. Say you're working on a project and for some reason when you are trying to select the specific type of geometry that you want to use to program in your job assignment, and you're moving the cursor around and you're trying to select an edge or a face and nothing will be highlighting or nothing will allow you to be selected, the button right here, the first button in the visibility buttons, is called Geometry Model Visibility. That needs to be active. If that is not active, the geometry cannot be chosen. So now that I've selected that button, you will see that I can highlight faces or anything else. Now, if for some reason these other buttons are all turned off and you have Geometry Model Visibility turned off, you won't see anything. So that's kind of a baseline to put yourself at, is click off everything. Then if you just click Geometry Model Visibility, you will see the model and be able to pick things. There is a chance if you put something like the Part Visibility button on and turn off Geometry Model Visibility, you will not be able to touch anything and you'll think, well, you know, here's my part, everything looks fine, but that is the issue. Alright. The next issue I'm going to cover is the tool number issue. So let's go up here and look at this operation that I've started. We're going to double click this whole machining op, and we're going to go down here, and let's say I just want to use my tool number 2. So I'm going to double click that, and lo and behold, the end value is 2 right there. And let's say, well, I'm going to change my mind, I'm going to move it to 4. Double click, now the end value is 4. This will not always happen. There is a special selection that you have to make in the parameters of SprutCAM in order for the end value here to coincide with the ID number of the tool. Otherwise, SprutCAM just makes the ops in order. First op will be tool 1, second op will be tool 2, third op tool 3, and etc. Where you can find this special box, I will show you. In the machine that you have active, you can either double click that machine or you can click on the parameters button. In the parameters button there is a tab called machines, and down at the bottom right of that box there is a button that says work with tools library, and that is the magic button to be selected. Use tool number from library. If it's not selected, click OK. Click home machining. Tool number 1 will be active, and you can change this to whatever tool number you want, and 1 is always going to be for the first operation. If we go back into parameters, back into parameters, machines, work with tool library, check that box. Now the end value will coincide with whatever ID number that tool happens to be. Another issue that people have been coming up with recently is having some problems when you post-process your part and you look at your G-code. Every once in a while people are getting a tool that it may be that you've used tool 2 and now you're going to use tool 2 again. So you got tool 2 here and you get a second op with tool 2. The problem being is that for some reason on their second op something happened to the length corrector value right here. If this happens to be a different number than this number, there will be an H value called out in the G code. That means a height offset value that'll be called out that is different from the actual tool number, which you don't want. Unless you absolutely know what you're doing, if you call out the height number for tool 1 when you're actually using tool 2, there will most likely be some sort of crash. So you want to spend extra attention on all your operations to make sure when you're creating them that the correctors number are the same as the N value that you're using in that operation. Now here's a little bit more difficult of a problem that I'm going to cover. It is a problem that happens a lot of times with new installs, especially in Windows 7 and Vista. If you're installing your computer Windows, or you're installing SprutCAM on Vista or 7 for the first time or so, if depending on your graphics card and the processor you have, you may open up SprutCAM and have a black screen where you see this blue screen right now. So instead of seeing this, you see just a black screen, and you may be able to import your tool and it'll flash on, it'll look correct for a second, then it'll go back to black, or whatever part you have in there may end up looking sort of wireframed, something like this in a black background. This is because your graphics card is not really keeping up with SprutCAM. That's one reason why I can't really simulate this very well for you, because the computer that I'm using at this point is quite good, and I cannot make that happen. But I can tell you how to fix it. So we're going to go into the Tools button here, go to System Setup, go to Visualization, and you will see these buttons. You will see the one that says Use Fast Painting Mode, and you will see the one that says Use Simple Object OpenGL Objects Only. You want to click this box and unclick this box, then click OK. Now you're going to want to restart SprutCAM. So close down SprutCAM, bring it back up, and lo and behold, you will no longer have the black screen and the wireframe looking version of your part. You will have what I have right here, blue screen and a part. This is simply a graphics card issue. Alright, now the last problem I'm going to go over is a post-processor issue. So I have run this whole machining operation. There's not really anything there, but we're going to go down to the post-processor, and at this point you should see a list of the posts that you have available to you. If you do not see any posts over here, you need to find your file or your folder that the posts are kept into. Now you can point SprutCAM towards any folder to look in these. So if you had a special post that you have been tweaking for yourself, you can point SprutCAM to look in that particular area. You can do that as a default in the tools area in the system setup, or you can click this button with the 3 dots and choose a file that you know what is in. And normally where this folder is it's going to be under let's go back a little bit here, your documents, and then it'll be under SprutCAM version 7 post processors. That is normally where it is kept, and then you should see a large amount of post processors in there. Or depending if you have a OEM version, you may only see 1 or 2. Now the output file for this post processor is up here. You want to choose with the dot with the three, the button with the 3 dots. You click on that, and you'll want to put this somewhere. So let's say we just want to put it on our desktop. We call it something, all right, and then we run it. Now it says error translating SPP file because we had this one active, and this is a lathe post. So let's go down and just find a standard Fanuc post. That should be good, and then click run. Alright, there's nothing really here because we didn't really do a project, but that's what you'll see, error translating if it's a post that's incompatible with the type of machine you have chosen. So those have been the top 5 issues that I most often answer questions about. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.